and welcome back to the Edify channel. So now we are getting into the fostering values, that is unit 2. So yesterday we did completed unit 1. You might have watched the video, and this is unit 2. Unit 2 is all about developing the values, attitudes and personal qualities. We did seen about what is value and the importance of it, the need of it, the source of it, everything. Now we comes into the fostering values. What is fostering values? Under this we gonna see about development of values, ways of fostering values in children, rates, process of value. All these things we gonna look into in this particular unit. Okay, so development of value, attitude and personal quality. So you think that what can be developed through value? Of course, values develop gradually. Gradually it's getting developed. Through what? Through what it is getting developed? Observation, imitation, experience and reflection. So first we have to observe. If we observe, I'm pretty sure that we can able to sense which is right, which is wrong. If you observe, you can able to sense which is right and which is wrong. So once you found this is right, then you start imitating it. But once you are in the shoes of it, which means when you are in the situation, observing is one kind and one type that you observe and you grasp it, you get to know right and wrong, then you imitate. Okay, while you are imitating, you'll get one experience. The experience that you are getting in observation is different, and the experience you are getting in imitation is different, because you are doing it. You are not an observer, you are not a third person, you are there in a situation and you are doing it. So that experience give you a different experience. So that kind of experience, and then it comes in the reflection. So next time you understood completely. So if you are observing us like 50%, imitating 70%, experience give you the 90%, and if you redo it, that gives you 100%. Okay, so yes, the values are expressed in terms of attitudes. Values are expressed in terms of attitudes. Let me give you one example. A professor who believes strongly in the work ethics, okay, there is a professor who believes strongly in the work ethics, will tend to exhibit certain attitudes towards students. And methods of studies as means of reflecting this value. So they'll be having some standard values. Okay. So again, attitudes are learned predispositions that influence how a person responds to people and situation. So attitude is something that expressed in terms, right? Values expressed in terms of attitude. So that, of course, so if a student have some personal qualities and values, that is a long-lasting belief about what is important to a person. When you are a student, you learn something that will come to long-lasting thing. Like a school always believes that educational process extend beyond purely academic. So once you learn something as a student, you will be having it in your mind until you become employee. Even after your retirement, you will think what you have learned as a student. That is something irreplaceable learning during that age. And personal qualities such as honesty, patience, empathy, self-control, all these things are consistent practice. So emotional well-being, that is like developing the respect for others and earning the self-respect and being communicative skill, that is also important. And being honesty is really important. You have to be honest to yourself first. That's how you will be honest to other persons also. There is some 5 most important core values is there, which NCERT have given. Okay, the core values given by NCERT is truth, peace, love, righteous conduct, non-violence. Okay. Truth, peace, righteous conduct, non-violence. Okay, these are the five most important core values where this NCERT has given the core values brief description also. Let me tell you what is truth, which is like honesty and integrity, right? Truthfulness in words and in action as well. You speak one, you do one, that's not fair, right? So, it is all about your word and action. Both should be true. So it is representing the real I or the diving principle in each of us. The real I. The real I is what? Truth. So the role of human intellect is to find out the truth. When one realizes and experiences this truth, one sees that the same truth pervades every other person and object and in essence as well. Or we all are one. So truth is something very important, and truth is the unchanging reality. We say reality hits hard. Reality hits hard, right? So truth is unchanging reality. So it cannot be changed. Whatever it happens, at last truth will be revealed, right? So that is one important core value and foremost core value. Peace. Peace is the end purpose of all human endeavors. Peace is the end purpose. That is the purpose of living, we say, right? Peace is the purpose of living, we say, right? Peace and love are closely connected. When you love something, you find peace there. If there is a chaos, that's not a love. That's not the affection you have in the relationship or even the material or even the work you do, whatever it is. So there is a love, there is a peace. If love is blocked, it will result in loss of peace. When the flow of love is restored, then peace returns. That's it. So peace and love is like closely connected. Again, love that has a supreme value. It is a form of energy that an individual transmits and receives. The individual transmits and also receives. Right. Okay. Righteous activity. Truth in action is considered as a right conduct. Truth in action is what? Righteous conduct. So that is what? Right conduct. So it's representing the unity in thought, word, action of an individual. One's thought, one's word, one's action needs to be in united. The unity of thought, word and action of individual. That is what righteous conduct. So how the thought, word, action will be in united? If you think good, if you are saying that to others and doing the same, everything should be same. You are thinking that you have to do the work by 9 a.m. and you tell your friend, I'll be doing it by 9 a.m. and you did it by 9 a.m. Then that's what unity of action, that's what right conduct, righteous conduct and important. So if you did the righteous conduct, always you will be getting this love, peace, truth, everything. Even if you couldn't do, there should be some fair reason. You shouldn't be lying with someone that I got stomach pain, I couldn't do that and all. So you couldn't do because of some real reason should be there, right? So if there is some real reason, the truth gets revealed, there you get peace. If you are lying, your threat goes on. You have to continue the lie. You have to maintain that one, right? The statement that you have given which is false. That statement goes beyond and it will be one lie is equals to 1,000 lies. That's the formula. One lie is equals to 1,000 lies and one truth is equals to 1,000 dead lies. 1,000 dead lies. You understand what is one truth is equals to 1,000 dead lies? Whatever the lies is been, there, that will be getting died. That will be getting died if you say the truth. If you say the truth, there is no value for extending the conversation, right? This happened, so this has happened. That's it. There is no more complications in that. So try to be honest always, okay? Yeah. So next value, non-violence. What is non-violence? Again, thoughts, word, action is there. Non-violence means not to injure others. Not to injure others either by thoughts, either by words, either by action. Nothing should be influencing others. I mean, injuring others. our thoughts. No, that guy shouldn't be winning, I have to. No, you have to win, that is your thought. Why should you tell others shouldn't? Same, the words or the action, whatever you do, that shouldn't be injuring others. The same way others also should think, right? Who is the others? Us. If everybody started thinking the same, then nothing will happen. The non-violence will remain. Peace. Non-violence will remain. Peace. So truth, peace, love, righteous conduct, non-violence are the 5 most important core values. Okay. So agencies that foster values. So we know what are the values. So those values will be, induced by, insisted by someone, right? That needs to be there. So this been debated long before even 66 years of, before the independence. All those times it's been, discussed, debated, everything. So now we know that these are the sources, these are the places, these are the agencies, whatever you call agency, source, place, that can foster the values. Parents, okay, parents includes a family, everybody, right? Then teachers in school, teachers are there in school, right? So everything gets involved. So when it comes to parents, family is the first school. Family is the first school where good habits and values are nurtured in a child. Where good habits and values are nurtured in a child. Mention the word nurtured. So that is very important. Family is the first school. And the foundation is of course important, right? So there they love the child to inculcate the feeling of love. Promote the feeling of love through toys. Ask the child to share the things with others. Don't say like nowadays they say like, no, yours shouldn't be given to others. No, sharing is important. Share the things with others. Promote the value of living together. Living together, that value is getting diminished nowadays, I can say, because of the broken of joint family system. However, living together through plays teach the value of respecting elders and feeling of kindness. This kindness, the love, the togetherness, I mean the unity, peace, love, everything is included in this family's first school. The first school of a child is a family. There it included. Telling the stories that promote different values. A child as a newborn to the world, it start believing the person who is insisting first. Right? The first always matters. So the parents and the family members plays important role. That's why it's called as a first school of them. No? Promoting the tolerance through plays, develop the habit of discipline and obedience. I'll tell you something. If a child is grown, maybe 3, 4, 5 years like that, okay, when he can able to walk by himself, he can able to do his works, not much, just a simple works. He can able to put the plate in the sink. He cannot wash at that age. Of course he can able to put the plate in the sink area, and he can arrange the toys. First comes with the toys. He play the toys and leave as it is and go. No, boy or a girl, whoever it is, leave the toy and go. No, tell them, you take it, you play it, keep in the place. Keep in the place that you have taken. So there the small discipline starts. If that's not been done here for a man or a woman, I mean boy or a girl, in future they do the same. It continue. Right? It continue. And in between the girl child will be educated to take care of everything but a boy, he'll be a grown man and husband of one girl in one day and do the same. He will do everything, and the chayas of the room will be like that, and girl have to be take care of that, wife have to be taking care of that, a mother-in-law, whoever it is. But the education starts here. Why should we give that much comfortness? No. Comfortness is all about taking care of them, doing what they wish, and showing the real love, but not a self-discipline, restricting the self-discipline. That needs to be take care of them. That needs to be taught to them. Right? So this is something, a small change, which can be, the seed for a biggest change in future. Yeah. So when it comes to family, they have to do all these things. Then comes to the school and teachers. So there it's not only about discipline, they do have the curricular programs as well. So they have the social, spiritual, moral values, suitable skills and attitudes to be developed through curricular and extracurricular activities also. The number of school programs should be organized with care, enthusiasm and imagination, so they would be effective for promoting values among the peoples. So there is a community prayer or Prarthana Sabha they call. So the prayer should be organized with a passionate zeal, sincerity and freedom. Inspiring prayer songs should be sung in chorus by both the teachers and students. Okay, this is something important. And there should be a calm atmosphere in the community prayer in the mother tongue is a disciplined manner. That is one thing. Okay. Health and cleanliness program, of course. This is important, right? The health and cleanliness activities are popularly called as Safai. Maybe the organized regularly after the morning prayer. The teacher or under his guidance, one health minister should check up the inspect public neatness in the class. Teachers should also see that the peoples are keeping their bodies, dress, belongings, environment neat and clean. So once in a month, the class picnic needs to be done. Eating the good food, good habits, everything is there or not. Health ministers should check all these things. This thing, the leadership also gets developed there. Everything is there, right? So there is a programs that the Ramji have, given. The students should be taught to keep the water container and tumblers neat. Taking the excursion to local wells, ponds, especially in rural areas, to understand the need of disinfecting and purifying water. A small health corner in a school may be arranged where the student without the practice of personal cleanliness can be trained and oriented for healthy living. Physical exercise like drill, running, games, sports include breathing exercise and asanas. It should be there. No one should cut the yoga period, PT period. These things should not happen. Like max teachers getting the PT period is running in my mind, and still it's happening, I hope. Teaching learning situations. So a children should be instructed to come to the class in a disciplined manner and enthusiastic mind to participate in this teaching learning process. That's how that the student will get it, right? Simply if the teacher is teaching continuously, the student will not. They have to be engaging. It has to be lively. Even if you are watching this video and you are sleeping on the other side, who knows? So it has to be so enthu. You have to be learn with real life examples. You should have interest in it and you should sit and learn. So what are the activities again? The prayer, cleanliness program, teaching learning situation. Yeah, now production and craft programs. So in the school curriculum, social, useful, productive work needs to be there. That activities related to basic needs of like food, clothing, shelter, health and recreations. So that also needs to be organized. So these are the things that is, organizing. Next, we did seen about how the school and family can help in the values, right? So now we do have the society, peer groups and religion, right? So we do have the society, peer group members, which is like their, surroundings, their classmates, everybody, and the religion also, which has some historical things to be followed. So how do they help? How do they help? So when it comes to society, the society should be very careful in delivering the things to a kid, the child, delivering the things to child, the community norm, social approval or disapproval, everything needs to. An individual is growing older, right? Their social world getting expanded. So they start look outside their homes and outside their schools. They see their neighborhood companions. They see their mental thoughts and everything. So a man living in society, his mental health and intellectual development is preserved by the society. Society have to preserve the culture and transmit it. Societies bring morality and ethics in individual. That's the responsibility of society. Individual discipline is brought by society via sanctions and rewards. brings tolerance and national integrity. Society is something, have much value in the value education that inculcates values through its various institutions and tools. Next to family, it is the society that teaches children about social values. So the young children start getting school acceptance from friends. Role of society is very important for the development of child. Okay, what about the peer groups? So the concept of peer group refer to the cluster of associates who know each other and who serve as a source or reference of comparison. During a middle childhood, peer group formation is there. Okay, so they take the every peer group. It has a subculture of its own rules, customs, manners, everything. So there are some values, like spread considerations among the members, age match, link-minded, harmonious relationship. It can meet the young people for friendship, security, self-esteem, identity, many things. So youth are interested in participating in peer group activities. So there also the values needs to be positive effects are also there. Parents can use child's peers to their advantage by making use of positive peers pressure tactics. Positive peer pressures help children to acquire good values, attitude, habits, and behavior. Okay, religion, the faith in God. Maybe, we are not feared to anyone else than the God. So the God is looking us, we have to do good. That is also a good thought, but that shouldn't be in the superstitious belief also. So according to Swami Krishnananda, religion is the language of the spirit in man. It is the urge of the soul within the response of the whole, that is man, to the call of the absolute. So once again I am repeating, according to Swami Krishnananda, he says that religion is the language of the spirit in man. Okay, religion is the language of the spirit in man. It is the urge of a soul within. It is the urge of the soul within, the response of the whole, that is man, to the call of the absolute. It is a man to the call of the absolute. So this is very nice lines that he have given, and this is by Swami Krishnananda. One more is Gandhiji's view. Religious is the expression of the permanent nature of man. Religions is the expression of the permanent nature of man. Religion purifies and elevates one's nature. It arouses in a man's sense of spiritual restlessness, a kind of thirst which enables an individual to cultivate and develop a sense to the right and good and make him truly a moral man. So these are the things being said. Even the Batroki, Vivekananda is also there. You can go through in the books. Okay. So every religion, there are values in every religion. Values in Hinduism, values in Islam, values in Christianity. Every religion has its own value. When it comes to Hinduism, it's one of the oldest and powerful religions in the world. Vedas are one of the oldest literature. So there is a values in Hinduism. Fundamental values are self-control, which is really important. Self-control includes emotional, physical, everything. Truthfulness, ahimsa, self-realization, love and satisfaction. These are the 5 most fundamental values in Hinduism. This is one of the oldest and powerful religions in the world, and Vedas are one of the oldest literature as well. Okay. So again, 5 fundamental values: self-control, truthfulness, ahimsa, self-realization, love and satisfaction. Okay. Next, there is a chief characteristics of Hinduism, that is, according to the Dr. Radhakrishnan, the Hindu method of religious reform is essentially democratic. Okay. So yeah, now values in Islam. Values in Islam is one of the major religions of the world. So what are the values? 6 values are there. Okay. Many values are there. Let me read out the 6 that is given. A complete way of life, a code of conduct, unique ideology, system of values, socio-economic order. So what are these things promote? These preaches and promotes the following behaviors. Behavior-based values. Again, behavior-based values in Islamic culture, which is major religions in the world. honesty, forgiveness, humility, politeness, sympathy, godness, reliability, patience, courage. These are 9. Already we seen 5 in Hinduism, that is self-control, truthfulness, ahimsa, self-realization, love and satisfaction. In Islam, honesty, forgiveness, humility, politeness, sympathy, godness, reliability, patience and courage. Now Christianity. This is centered on Jesus Christ. Okay, they have many things. Education is regarded as important activity. Education to Christian is mean of true moral life. Live with a clear conscience. Finish what you start. Finish what you start. Strive for excellence in all what you do. All that you do. Strive for excellence in all that you do. Spend time regularly with God in prayer. Handle criticism in a godly manner. Live by faith. Live by discernment. Be a giver. Be peaceful. Avoid strife. These are the 9 things that's given in the Christianity. So there is a 5 in Hinduism, 9 in Islam and 9 in Christianity is given. So you can refer the book also. Even I have repeated you twice about Hindu and Islam. Let me repeat it for the Christianity once more. Live with a clear conscience. Finish what you start. Strive for excellence in all that you do. Spend time regularly with God in prayer. And here they have given study Bible. You can study whatever the religious books that you need. Okay. There is no restrictions in this world. Handle criticism in a godly manner. Live by faith. Live by discernment. Be a giver. Be peaceful. Avoid strife. So please note this down. It may be coming in the 5 marks or other big questions also. Government. Act as a facilitator for greater participation in the field of education. So government is also a responsible one, acting as a facilitator for greater participation in this field of education. So now government has established various organizations to propagate truth, godness and the beauty. Right. So the report of the Indian Parliamentary Standing Committee have given the point out that there has been continuous erosion of values in our society which is reflected in day-to-day life. Okay. So the National Curriculum Framework for School Education, India 2005 also voices serious concern over the erosion of values in our society and stresses the need for inculcating values also. So now this is all the governments are taking these steps. And when it comes to mass media, of course, newspaper, magazines and other news medias are flooded with report of crime, murder, agitation. Disputes between father and son, between wife and husband, between son-in-law and father-in-law are not rare. Again, it's not rare. One media does not provide desired nourishment to a culture. On the contrary, due to commercial type of competition. Again, on the contrary, due to commercial type, we did seen this commercial everywhere, right? Everywhere it's commercial. When it gonna get changed, I'm not sure. So, on the contrary, due to commercial type of competition in gaining cheap popularity, please note this, in gaining a cheap popularity, they have polluted our culture. They have polluted our culture. The role of mass media in fostering different value among students is presented in such a way. You can see, first it's all about books and values. Books reflect the mind of an intellectual. They give the deep insight of a person they think. Books not only expose an individual to good literary works, but also expose him to the finest educational opportunities. Every prose, poetry, drama, essay, fiction, literary works based on philosophy, art, history, religion, culture, everything is there. Right, so books is something very important. Now, newspaper and values. Unlike the non-print media discussed above, the mass medium of newspaper had 2 basic character. Okay, restricted to those who can read and it reports and discuss reality. Like films, privately owned medium, so that each newspaper reflect and build particular ideology of a thought or reality. It is motivating the development of regularity so that generally newspaper reading became a habit of an individual. It developed the reader's awareness and knowledge that's happening. Okay. social events also. How values are changing fast of heroes and villains in the various arenas of human enterprises. Same that's going in. Newspapers are the main source of handy information, but now that is also not being, read by everybody. Magazines, that also getting into commercial part. That is also getting into of, fairies, of kings, of politics, of films and anything else. And we do have the radio television values. Radio programs can be adopted on the basis of discussion with students, and everything can be done, but it is moving towards the commercial is what reality in mass media. And the internet and values, of course there is an advancement. The important thing if you see in mass media is mass media provide information to the mass within a less time. That's notable. Important of mass media is mass media provide information to the mass within a less time, right? And it takes a wide coverage, also. So voluntary organizations, there are many voluntary organizations there. So they are independent, they are established for the purpose of adding value to the community. They work for promoting the mental and moral welfare. There is a religious institution, social and charitable organizations, panchayats, everything is there, right? So now process of valuing. How the value is being processed, do you think? One educational approach to help make value decision is value clarification process. That's been outlined by Rath's process of value clarification is one method to help people identify value or make moral decision. That's the process. So Rath's value clarification believe that every decision or a choice of an individual makes is based upon his belief, his attitude, his value. So once again, what Rath is telling, values clarification process believes that every decision, Rath value clarification process is believing that every decisions or a choice of an individual makers based upon his belief, attitude, values. Valuing activities allow the individual to opportunity to identify a personal set of beliefs in decision making. So according to Rath, students need a systematic approach in the development of values. So students need a systematic approach. In that he is giving some system, that is 7 steps of value clarification, that you can call it as process as well. So in that, of course the storytelling, dramatization and clarification is there. Before the storytelling, dramatization and clarification, the 7 steps are there. Let me tell you the 7 steps. Choosing freely. Choosing freely. First step. Student must be able to select values without question from others. Without any question from others. Choosing freely is a step 1. Choosing from alternatives. Step 2. As with any decision making process, there must be at least 2 options. From which they choose. That is choosing from alternatives. First, choosing freely. Next, choosing from alternatives. Next, choosing after thoughtful consideration of consequences. Choosing after thoughtful consideration of consequences of each alternative. The consequences also should be noted. So first freely you choose. Then you look into the other options. Then you see what is the consequence. Then comes pricing and cherishing. If a person has truly developed value, it should be willing to respect that value. So pricing and cherishing is a 4th. 5th, so now freely you have chosen, then you have chosen from the alternatives, then you have a thoughtful consideration what will happen after accomplishing it, then you decided the pricing and cherishing everything. Now affirming. 5th step is affirming. If the value has met the affirmation criteria, then the person should be willing to publicly affirm. Then acting upon choices, which is very important. The value position one has selected should provide guide points for behavior. So acting upon choices. 7th, repeating. Of course, it has to be repeated. A value position which serves as a guidepost of behavior tends to be applicable in variety of situation. Once again, step 1, choosing freely. Step 2, alternatives. Step 3, consequences. Step 4, prizing and cherishing. Step 5, affirming. Step 6, doing it in action. Step 7, repeating. So now, after all these things, again Rath comes with this considerable values into three things: the process, storytelling, dramatization, clarification. What is storytelling? So stories on the life of a great men and women, saints and heroes will kindle the spirit of inquiry and promote higher ideals and understanding of human values. Storytelling is actually both art and science. How? If you tell one story, there will be a talk of life, people, thing, events, how this happened, and even the science about the process, right? Everything is there. So the narration of stories by parents and teachers could be most effective, particularly in the junior class. Okay, particularly in the junior class. Storytelling is a powerful technique as it leaves a perennial impression in the minds of children. Dramatization. Dramatization is helping to build responsible global citizens. Responsible global citizens. Drama accomplished several goals at once, enriching students' school experience through art as well as reinforcing traditional academics as well. Story dramatization is identified as one of the expressive arts that are concerned with children's inner imaginative through and their spontaneous democratic actions. Okay, so clarification, that has been value of intellect, will, emotion, spiritual, everything needs to be clarified. Okay, now we comes to the family values and character education. What is family values and characteristics education? You think? Already we did studied that family should give the love, respect, honest, responsibilities, everything, right? And daily routine should be shared. This is something we already discussed about family values. You can read it once. Love, everything, positive attitudes, holistic view, harmony, and the education, social and emotional learning, health education, violence prevention, life skill education, ethical reasoning, critical thinking, mediation, everything. Okay, so now peace education. So that's all about unit 2. Now we comes to the unit 3, peace education. Let us look unit 3 and then in the next video we can go for the 4 and 5 combined, because unit 3 is less, no problem. Okay, so when it comes to peace education, what is peace? Think for a minute about peace. I'll give you a minute. You go to the comment box and type the words. Okay, type the words that you are thinking about a minute. If you want, have some water in between the video. Alright, now peace. You would have commented some words in the comment boxes about peace. What do you think, right? So now let me tell you what I think as a peace is, if I have the right values, then I achieve the peace. It's not outside, it's with me. It is with me and it is in my hand. It is in my hand. I have book in my hand, I have phone in my hand, I have pen in my hand, everything is in my hand. The same way, I have peace in my hand. If I wish, I can keep it. If not, I can keep it down. That is in my hand completely. Okay, now the meaning, the definition and concept. Peace education is a process of promoting the knowledge, skill, attitude and values that needed to bring about behavioral change that prevent conflict and violence and help people live in harmony. Harmony is peace, right? So here in the modern world, education is an important in everyone's life, right? It is teaching how to build a culture of peace and spread peace by forming good relation with the people. But things are different in past and things are different now. People gave force on cognitive learning, as a result, many areas of the world, society started suffering from the non-violent behavior of people. Education is difference maker. Education is difference maker, which is change in human personality by changing the behavior and attitude. And it also helps inner and outer peace among the people, and also teaches the qualities of moral and non-violence behavior. The main object of education is to change the behavior of a children or an individual. If the education changes the behavior of children, of course the individual is getting right. The concept of peace education helps in developing social value, moral value, skill behavior, spread peace in the atmosphere. Okay. Now, what are the definitions you think the peace have? Number of definitions, okay? Federico Mayer, Albert Einstein, Friedrich Laying, John Denny, many have given. Let me tell you the simple. Albert Einstein. Everybody know Albert Einstein, right? According to Albert Einstein, peace is not merely in the absence of war, but the presence of justice. Again, peace is not merely in the absence of war. We cannot get the peace if the war is not there. Just because war is not there, we cannot get the peace. Only we can get the peace if there is a presence of justice. Presence of justice. Let me complete. Of justice, of law, of order, in short, of government. So if there is a proper justice, law and order of the government is there, there is what we get a peace. It's not in the absence of war. Now everything is happening, right? If you are listening to this, think, now the war is happening. The government is also trying to ensure the law, but still that couldn't happen. The war is also not ended, the thing is also not ended. But what this Albert Einstein said years and years ago, like centuries ago, he said that it is not in the absence of war. Of course, this side doesn't have the war. The Iran people, they have the war, but we didn't have the war. But though we are in the absence of war, we do not have the peace, right? Until the orders of law and orders are perfect. That's true what Einstein says, I feel. And another definitions also I'll give you. Once again, I'll tell the Albert Einstein's, definition for peace. Peace is not merely the absence of war, but the presence of justice, of law, of order, in short, of government. Okay. Again, John Dewey says, peace education is grounded in active citizenship, preparing learners for assiduous participation in a democracy through problem posing and problem solving education and a commitment to transformative action in our societies. Every author have given so much, but this Einstein has given good. Okay. Once again, Freire is given one more. Peace education is the mechanism for the transformation from a culture. Peace education is the mechanism for the transformation from a culture of violence to a culture of peace. From a culture of violence to the culture of peace through the process of conscientization. Okay, I have given you Albert Einstein, John Dewey, Freire, 3 definitions. But Albert Einstein is what I feel, right definitions to write. So if you want, you write that or write all the 3 also. You can go back and watch the video again to, understand 3 definitions. Once again, according to Albert Einstein, peace is not merely in the absence of war, but the presence of justice, of law, of order, in short, of government. According to Freire, that is F-R-E-I-R-E, okay? According to Freire, peace education is a mechanism for the transformation from a culture of violence to a culture of peace through the process of conscientization, okay? Now, according to John Dewey, peace education is grounded in active citizenship, preparing learners for assiduous participation in a democracy through problem posing and problem solving education and a commitment to transformative action in our societies. Okay. So, the concept. What is the concept that peace education have? History. History has been proof of the thousands of war, right? History has been proofs of the thousands of war. which have taken place in all periods at different level between different nations. Thus, we learned that peace played an important role in ending these wars or even preventing some of them. Peace played an important role in ending these wars or even prevent some of them. So, in fact, if you take a look at all religious scriptures and ceremonies, you can realize that all of them teach peace. All of them teach peace. So peace education is something that empower the skill, knowledge, value, attitude compulsory to end the injustice, violence and to promote the culture of peace. Once again I am repeating, peace education empowers learners with the skills, knowledge, values and attitudes compulsory to end injustice, violence and to promote a culture of peace. Yes. So now there are some aims and objectives that a peace have. Let me tell you. Peace is what you think it is. Okay. Peace is what you think it is. That's a statement, the famous statement and important statement. Peace is what that you think it is. If you think it is a peace, that is what a peace. What is positive peace? What is negative peace? Before moving to the video, just think what is positive peace? What is negative peace? Is there a peace in negative? You think that there is a peace in negative? Okay. So positive peace is referring to the presence of fair condition or relationship in economic and social justice. We know about the positive peace. Okay, what is negative peace? It refers to the absence of physical violence or war or any direct violence. It is just referring to the absence of physical violence. There is no physical violence. That's what negative peace. Do you think that it is related to what the previous definition has said? Right, na? So negative peace, absence of direct physical violence. Okay, what is a direct violence? War, torture, child, woman abuse. What is a positive? Presence of condition of well-being and just relationships. Right. What is the structure of poverty? Hunger shouldn't be there. Racism, sexism, religious intolerance, pollution, nothing should be there. Overconsumption, all this structural violence, socio-cultural violence, ecological violence, everything is not there, then positive peace is there. So now, peace education is for peaceful living, right? So what are the things that have aimed for a peaceful living? To develop an understanding of the causes and consequences of conflict. What will happen if conflict is there? And skills in communication, empathy, negotiation, everything. Cultivating the attitude of tolerance, respect for diversity and non-violence. These are the things that points that peace education should have the objectives and aims in these areas. Right. Okay. Peace education do have different levels. Informal, non-formal and formal. You think the aims we have already seen that it is, how it has to be. Objectives is also. And there are 7 pillars. 7 pillars of peace education. Once again, I repeat the aims and objectives for your recall. Aims of peace education is to establish the peace in our culture and spread it to stop conflict globally. And peace education is a means of creating, this is the objective, means of creating more stable and peaceful culture. Okay, thereby preventing violent incidents from occurring. Primary objective is relying on the assumption while violent conflict is unavoidable, there is a process which we can address conflict and minimize the violence. Okay. And there is a 7 pillars of peace education. Let me tell you that first. Community building, enabling multiple intelligence, nurturing emotional intelligence, exploring approaches to peace, reframing history, transforming conflict non-violent, skill building. So before the peace education's different level, I have told you about the 7 pillars of peace education. Please listen to it. 7 pillars. Community building. What is community building? Finding things that unite and bind us together as a group, while at the same time respecting and celebrating our differences. Okay, respecting and celebrating our differences, whereas we are together in different different culture, but we are together. That's what community building. Okay, now enabling multiple intelligence, which is balancing the learning experience by engaging learners in ways, okay, by engaging learners in ways that play to their strength, while also challenges that them to develop other intelligence. This is second one. First, community building. Second, enabling multiple intelligence. There is no limitations. Okay, that's why multiple intelligence. Third, nurturing emotional intelligence. Nurturing emotional intelligence, that is acknowledging the emotion, feeling, experience that each learner have in the learning environment. 4, exploring approaches to peace, that is breaking the ideal, overarching concepts, all these things. Reframing history, changing the lens through which we look, transforming conflict non-violently, skill building. These are the 7 pillars. Okay, now peace education have different levels na, informal, non-formal, formal. Education at all stages commonly agree that students should be taught about peace. Okay, so now we have the different levels, that is early childhood stage, elementary stage, secondary stage, higher education stage, adult education stage. Okay, once again I'm repeating the 5 stages. First, as the saying goes, it is easier to build a child than to repair an adult. Once again, it is easier to build a child than to repair an adult. Now you understand why the process and different levels are important. We cannot repair an adult. It's very tough. But it is easy to build a child. That's why this levels are important. The stages are important. Please note it down. Early childhood stage, elementary stage, secondary stage, higher education stage, adult education stage. Okay. So once again, it is easier to build a child than it is to repair an adult. So now, first, early childhood. Habits are formed. Development of brain architecture happened rapidly. Right? Their ability to reduce and manage conflicts and violence is everything. Okay? Elementary, they learn about the stage critical challenge. Okay? Elementary change. Children is that of relating to other children and the environment. They start relating to other children. First stage is early childhood, where they just the habits are getting formed, everything is getting aligned. Second is elementary stage, where they start the comparison, they get the respect for others, sharing, punctualities, recognitions, everything. Okay. Now, secondary stage and senior secondary stage, where secondary and senior secondary students are the doorsteps of becoming independent individual. So this is getting result in confusion, leads them to disagreement and conflict with the parents, peers, teachers, everybody. To ease their burden, students need training to solve the conflicts via dialogue and negotiation. Guidance on how they form a comprehensive perspective, peace, justice, non-violence. Okay. Now, higher education stage. This is considered extremely significant for peace. This stage, teachers also double as role models for the students. their own syllabus. Students should be taught about human rights, international understandings, everything. Now, adult education stage. Continue the learnings and development. The new challenges comes. Supporting society they expects and ever-changing technology they expects everything. Importance of peace educations, everything they get in this adult stage. And presence, let us come to this present scenario. We completed the important stages, early childhood, elementary, secondary, higher education and adult. Now we jump into the next part, that is in present scenario how's the peace education works. Peace education plays, see, whatever I have told you all comes under this informal, non-formal, formal. As these, the early stage, all these things is like living through the family, community life, everyday experience. It's like informal. Non-formal is something flexible outside forming the schooling, that there it comes. Formal is coming through higher educations. That's what deeply we have looked into all the other stages. Yes. So now present scenario. In present scenario, do you think how the peace is going on? It helped to control violence in the country. Important role in controlling terrorism in the country. Promoting international understanding, national integration, mutual cooperation. It avoid communalism and regionalism. Help to transmit the culture from one generation to other. Avoid the clashes, wars between one and other country if peace is there. Help to lead good quality of life, lead an achievement in the field of science and technology, everything. So this peace education avoid the violent, terrorist clash, wars, and help to provide a positive attitude, feeling among the students. So this is important. So conflict resolution training, of course. Peace education as a conflict resolution training, that is involving teaching people tools and strategies for effectively resolving a conflict within the personal lives. So students in conflict resolution training learn coping skill, anger management, taking responsibility, seeking compromise, improving communication. Let me tell you, in the present, the present generation, maybe the Gen Z or Alpha, those does not have that anger management or taking a responsibility, seeking a compromise. These things needs to be developed. Listening skill, articulating needs, all these things. It's there, but it's not up to the mark. So that conflict resolution trainings is needed. Democracy education. So this modern world has been spread of democracy at the most valid form of government. I think now the democracy is, giving the peace, sustainable development, human rights closely interrelated with one. And it is not possible without peace. And truly, peace cannot exist without democracy. And democracy is not something that can be exported or manufactured. Note it, democracy is not something that can be exported or manufactured. It has to be constantly sought after and nurtured. So that has to be everyone treated to be equal. Think that she is born free. Demand an equal chance. That is what democracy. There is no restrictions in particular grade or level. What are the dimensions democracy should have? Political, cultural, artistic, historical, ideological, literary ones, philosophical or conceptual, legal and legislatives. Everything it should be. Like recognizing of individual human right, education for all, gender equity, social obligation, responsibility, freedom, social cohesion, culture and natural tradition, active social participations. Democracy is undoubtedly the very foundation of lasting peace. Very foundation of lasting peace. Then human rights education. Of course, human rights is very important, right? Human rights is very important one. Human rights is something that build the awareness of universal human right in civil, political, economic, social, culture, and grounded in instruments such as Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Everyone should learn about the human rights. What should they do? What should they do not do? Link closely with the peace. Links closely with the peace. Let me tell you some points about it. Human rights refers to the basic rights and freedoms to which every human is entitled. Okay. So, the Convention on the Rights of the Child or Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The first sentence, that is Convention on the Rights of the Child. The first sentence Declaration of Human Rights states, respect for human rights and dignity is the foundation of freedom, justice and peace in the world. So, human right education teaches and encourages the student to develop the skill that will enable them to act in a ways that promote and uphold rights both their own and others. Teaching learners that only forming and maintaining this sensitivity is not enough. They must also develop an ability to react on human rights violence. So when human rights, the lack of education, too much importance within the nation on economic consideration at the cost of justice, ignorance of customs and law, poverty, inequitable wealth distribution, all these things will get affected. All these will things get affected to the democracy, human rights, everything, right? So it has to be taken care by us. So now we have the unit 4, which can be combined with the unit 5, that is promoting culture of peace. And the next unit is the 5th unit, that is the last unit, that also seen. Okay, so yes, we'll meet in the another video for unit 4 and 5. Thank you, bye.